Hello, I am Bentham and welcome back to Cosmoteer. In the previous episode we started the veteran sectors and it turned out that we're actually pretty good at them already. It seems I went slightly overkill. I was a little bit too concerned about what the jump to the veteran sector level would bring. I mean, reasonably so. I'd previously suffered quite a bit when I tried jumping to the professional sectors a little bit too soon, so I guess I went the other way this time and was a little bit slow to jump to them. Also, I don't know how I missed this, but clearly there's two shields on the spear that are not operational because there's some doors missing. So we'll add those in. Whoops. And also, I sort of want to move that door up to line up nicely with it, but I don't know if that really makes sense. No, at the end of the day, they'll just have to walk more either way. It'll be the same distance. So I might as well keep it there, I suppose, and then it lines up with that. Yeah, that makes sense to have that sort of thing. Then again, if I had a door there, it would line up with that as well, but who knows, whatever. I could have two doors. I overthink these things sometimes, I think. I'm pretty happy with the ships as they stand. I do have a load of money, but I think the ships are fine already. I don't know if we really need to make any particular modifications to them. The one thing that this ship could do with is... wait, I didn't make it so. There we go. The one thing the spear could do with is some more point defense. At the moment we're lacking in that respect. There's just a couple on the front. And that's it. In fact, what we could do is just add more to where we already have them here. Nothing much stopping us. I don't know why I sort of convinced myself that they should always be in pairs. I can totally just do this. You know what, I'll add that door there. And there. Fine. Why have I put a door there when there makes so much more sense? Anyway, so yeah, more point defense on the front will be nice, but then we also want some on the side if we can have it, so... how to implement it exactly? Perhaps just sticking out here? Have a bank of 3 of them, and then have a little corridor back here if we wanted... Why would you want a corridor there? Don't know what I was thinking. You might as well just use that, because that already exists. There we go, a little bank of them there. Means we need a little bit more in the way of crew and power, but I guess we could do that. These ones all power this. As it stands, one generator for all these shields is probably not enough, so maybe we should add another reactor nearby. Maybe we should reinstate the ones that we had here before for the moment. But then we'd be cutting down on how many crew we have available, so I'm not sure. You know what? I think I've got all this a little bit wrong, really. I think I should move everything up by a square, looking at it, because I kept thinking that everything's not lining up nicely, but there's really no reason to have it line up the way I have. Why have I don't want to hold that thing anymore. Get rid of it. There we go. Move, whoops. Ow, jeez. Everything went crazy for a second. Yeah, move this all up, and that makes things a little bit more neat. Move this up as well, actually. That then messes this stuff up a little bit. That gives us room here to do something like have another crew quarters here. And then also, let's get this out of the way because we've now got this proper system with the conveyor belts, so it won't work properly anymore if we start messing about with exactly where the doors and things are. Then rebuild the reactor here, make sure there's a door here. I've just ended up putting that there, that's fine. People can burst out of this door and run straight up that way. Let's move this down, and then we'll have the conveyors extend just a smidge. And why do I not have one there? There's no door here, so why not? Really, I should have that there, though. Of course, it's because I've moved everything, so all of the doors and things have rearranged. So I'll have to... oh, hang on, have I got these? I've got that one backwards. That's going up, this is going up, this is going down. Remove this door. Clear out. I'm not sure I want to do this. We want to have a door out here, I suppose. Let's move all these doors down. This down, this down. Move this up, this down. Make a nice open space here. For the purposes of neatness, I'll cut that one out, but that's inefficient, and so I shouldn't, but I'm doing it anyway, and you can't stop me. And we'll also remove this one here and have a door here. And we'll just leave it all open there so people can move around nicely. That's fairly decent, I would say. Sorts out the power. Crew's doing alright. Can we do some Nah, this is all still lined up properly. What we can do, now that things are sticking out a bit more back here, is we can just move this out and have it all stick out permanently. There we go. So it's now like this is set well inside the section of the ship. That's pretty good. I have noticed we're slightly not perfect on the FTL drive, and I'm wondering why that is, because it's got this whole green highlight thing, and someone did say that the positioning does matter. I can't tell if these ones look a bit more yellow than the rest of the ship, like they're a bit too far away and so it's not perfect. It's possible, and so maybe moving the FTL drives up would be enough to fix the problem. But it's 95%, and it doesn't really matter, and it'd cost a whole bunch of money to do it, so I think I will just leave it all like that. Maybe I should put some armor here. It's not really needed, I don't think. There's plenty of shields in between the enemy and the actual stuff here, and it might block the shots of the point defense, which we don't want. So I will, I think, leave it at that. Yep, everything looks good. We'll make all that so, and we'll let everyone fix everything up ready, and we will jump on to the next veteran sectors. Where are the nearest ones? There's one on its lonesome over there, and then there's one there and one there. Maybe we'll go through 3 then. We'll complete the this particular star systems set of veteran sectors. Let's speed things up so these guys are ready nice and quick. Hey, you weren't that far behind this time, Spear. Here we are, back down to normal speed. Let's go face someone who's nice and far away from anyone else, because that is the safer way to do things. And we'll follow our ships as they go, see how well they stay lined up. Yeah, the Spear's just a little bit faster. And here's the enemy. It is the Rachnill. That's a weird name. Wonder if that's a reference to something. What have we got? We've got an ion beam, loads of cannons, bit of shielding, but not on the ion beam. So I think its weak spot is blasting through there and hitting the reactor core, killing all the crew. Though they won't be in their quarters at the time, so I guess actually blowing up that reactor won't be that effective. Like, it seems like there's already armor and stuff around here, so it's not even going to stop people moving from A to B. This is the corridor here. Like that, it will remove that. Yeah, that's an interesting way of doing it, actually. Making it so that blowing up the reactor really doesn't do much, because you've already blown up... Like, if you've blown up the thing blocking it, then there's nothing left of interest. Let's go for a system of trying to attack it from both sides. See which way it decides to point. A 90-degree difference between the positioning of our ships would seem like a decent way of doing it. Please point at the enemy, Spear. Pointing away is extremely dumb when you don't have any side-facing weaponry. Here we go. He's chosen the mace. Shields are failing on the front, but we are doing a number on them as well. A lot of power issues at the front here. Not good. There we go. Shields regenerating because the thing's now just a drifting hulk, pretty much. We've managed to miss all of the reactors. Not a one has been blown up yet. There we go, 1 down, and the remaining 2. Very nice, and on we go. What repairs need doing? Just a small amount. Went pretty well considering they did break through the shields. Seems like they managed to not do much else once that had happened. The mace was just flipping all over the place there. Did you see that? Hang on, let me check the power, because it might not be able to recharge. Oh no, it's all fine now. It was struggling for power for... Actually, it still is in the thrusters, but that's perhaps to be expected when it's like going full speed towards that enemy. Right, what do we have next? I'm waiting to see something really powerful like that one guy we saw before. What is this mess? The rocket. It's got 1,000,000 thrusters all in the back, and it's got the internal thruster system that I was messing with. But then what is all this? I mean, I guess that works. Just 1,000,000 guns on either side. Just don't face the enemy. Well, the thing is, though, they're too close together, because you can't use the system of like, oh yeah, once they take out one side, flip around. Because by the time they've taken out one side, you've got a massive hole in you, and you've been splitting off, and the front's come off. The front's not supposed to come off. They're generally built so the front doesn't fall off. Right, let's see how we do. Very wacky one to fight, definitely. and it's conveniently maneuvering such that we're going to outflank it massively. Yeah, just cut the front off it. It's even got a reactor perfectly positioned so that as soon as you blow that up, it falls in half. Though I guess because it was... Why are there so many ships with only one reactor? How do they possibly function? It's ridiculous. There's your defense then. It's like, it doesn't matter that the reactor will make the front fall off because we'll be dead as soon as the reactor blows up anyway. Crazy designs. Alright, onwards. Let's see if we get something similarly crazy. The Spitzer, this is an interesting looking one. Guns on all sides, focus on the front. Decent amount of shielding. This is one of the... Oh, and 4 reactors. This one's got the power efficiency. Not the power... not energy efficiency. I guess the opposite. It's got enough power, is what it has. Yeah, this is one that's going to spin. This is going to have some fun constantly rotating around. So what we'll do is we'll do the 90-degree system. Then again, I can't quite get that to work right when I'm targeting because they will try and target relative to how the ship's positioned and it'll spin and it won't work anymore, so not really sure. There might be a way to get your ships to target based on the grid directions so that I'll be like, yeah, target from this direction, stay that way no matter what happens. Right, Spear is, there we go, knocked out the front. Yeah, you reactors are too close to the surface. Your spinning isn't going to work if we blow you up before you manage to turn around. Come on, give chase. There we go. A little bit of damage, not too much. It was just battering us with everything it could on one particular corner of the spear there. Yeah, it seems like it's just like a coin flip as to which ship they'll target at any one time. Interesting. I wonder what they base it on. There seems to be some sort of clever AI thing going on. Well, I don't know how particularly clever it is. What's going on here? It looks like it's supposed to have a beam set in here, and the beam's missing. Where's it gone? It's got a weird design about it. This is Flotsam. And the reactors seem not too difficult to get. There's a lot of armor between the reactors and the outside. Even though they're close to the surface, they are well defended. So... it's not going to be a piece of cake. What were you doing? Just coming in, drifting into the battle, just to show off. Oh, that was nice. I am looking forward to getting a really, like a proper missile ship that just bombards the enemy with 1,000,000 missiles when it gets into a fight. That's going to be very fun. But there we go. We're drowning in money. How much does each ship cost? 500,000. Just over 500,000, yeah, so we have almost exactly 1,000,000 worth of ship, and we can build a third of that already. So we can already build a slightly more modest vessel straight away. But we'll carry on for a bit longer first. I want to build a more than modest vessel, really. So let us jump on to the next of the veteran sectors. I'm just going to get rid of all 3 of the ones here. We'll just blast through them, do all the building at the end. Let everyone power up their drives. And on we go. Bit expensive because we're hopping all over the system right now. And here we are. At Alpha Quindown, something like that. Some sort of randomly generated sector name, or planet name, I guess. Here we go. It's another Spitzer, so we should be okay. From what we've seen, we can fare decently well against those. Here we go. Shields taken out with the missiles, and then everything else taken out with all of the things. Yeah, they need better defenses for the reactors, or they'll just fall apart as soon as you knock out one of the 4 sides. On to the next guy. Couple of missiles flying all over the place there. They had the misfortune of not being in time to... Ooh. This looks familiar. This must be an upgraded version of the ship, because it seems like it's got a little bit more to it. Yeah, it's got these lasers at the back. The coloured scheme is different. I don't think the original one had 2 reactors. That would seem a bit overkill for amateur sectors. Probably didn't have an FTL drive either. So this is like the... That's the thing, we've not seen it in so long. It wasn't... It had stopped appearing in the professional sector. So maybe, like the other one, it could have potentially been jumped up a difficulty level with a couple of modifications in the case of this particular ship. So that's pretty neat. So yeah, get in there, see how you do, and we'll see how we fare against its ability to knock out all of our shields and things. Like, this guy, this is his worst nightmare, really, but he's so tiny that it may not matter. Get into range, will you? You're just swinging off all over the place. It's supposed to be maneuverable now. I added in a load of extra engines and stuff. But I've also added in a load of extra mass, so perhaps it's cancelled out. Here we go, it's battering the mace. Yep, straight through some of the shields. Starting to damage the weaponry. Come on, spear. Actually be in the fight, please. Poor mace here is getting murdered slowly. Very slowly. Oh, I looked away for a minute, and when I look back there's nothing left. That's beautiful. Yeah, it may have been formidable once, but now we've got, like, we've not beaten it through being clever, we've beaten it through sheer brute force of being massive relative to it. But either way, bit of revenge there, always nice. On to the next. Who do we have now? Another Reckless Warrior. We've shown ourselves to work fairly well against these so far. I mean, their initial volley of missiles is a bit painful, as powerful as ours. But then we can survive it more easily than they can. And we can follow up a lot better. No damage whatsoever, apparently. How did that happen? It just hit the shields with the missiles, I guess. And this one is... I think this is a new one. It's called Sarrow. It's got a bit of shielding, a lot of weapons lined up along the front. My kind of ship, this one, really. Though even more boxy than the designs I usually go for. And yeah, a lot of these ships are just like, forget it, in terms of reverse thrusters. They just put a couple of tiny ones in so they have room to put all the weapons they want on the front. But here we go. Oh, let's not be in 4 times speed for this fight. That's maybe a bit silly. It's going for the spear. It will not get through, I imagine. Oh! It has. Ah. Apparently, it has managed to blow up this shield generator through the shield. So perhaps I've miscalculated exactly what the range needs to be. Either way, we'll kill it, but maybe I'll have to do a bit of rethinking. If I brought these shields forward a bit too much. Well, now we're murdering it, so I can no longer see whether it can do... Oh wow, I've split into 2 functional components. That's one down. Focus on the other now. They really want to blow up that bit of debris. Oh, they're off. They want to go after that thing. Please go after the actual remaining bit of the ship. That would be more favourable. But yeah, interesting. Was it because of like a missile and the explosion was enough to break through, or it was some sort of cannon that was able to pierce the shield a bit? Or is it the case that you can clip the front when the shield is that far back? I'm not really sure. Bit expensive, but overall not terrible. On to the next one. We've now got over 500,000, so we can immediately build another ship of the level that we already have with the money that we've got so far. But one more sector before we start doing that, and then we'll have even more money spare to work with. We can start getting to the point where we always have a bit of spare money, so that even if a ship gets blown up, we can replace it. Which should be neat. And off to this guy. Yeah, it's nice to have some backup funds in case you do end up with a ship getting blown up, because it's entirely possible. And once you've got more than one ship, it doesn't necessarily mean it's the end of the game. You can rebuild the ship that you had and carry on as you did, or abandon the ship that you lose and try starting again if you think that it was some major flaw that caused the issues. Right. This is a beam versus beam one. I wonder whose beams will win. Yeah, this guy's just on the side being annoying. But yeah, they've barely broken through our shields at all, and we've broken through their reactors, their ion beams pretty well. Now it's just finishing off the reactors. Of course, they always go into a spin after you blow up everything but one reactor, and then it takes ages to blow up the final one. You just sat there waiting for them to turn and face the proper way, or for your guns to manage to blast through them enough. I keep accidentally touching the edge of the screen and then it sends me flying just after I've locked onto my ship. So the spear's getting a bit of a head start here also. This could end up being a 2-on-2. Maybe it's about time we try that though. Then again, looks like a fairly... Yep, this is the Fortitude. This one gave us a bit of trouble before. We killed it, And we didn't suffer that much, but it was the most dangerous one we faced, I think. Let's go into slow motion for this. This guy is drifting awfully close. But here we go with the beams. Should blast through their shields pretty quick, and ours should hold fairly nicely. He's now targeting the ship that can take the hits. So that works pretty well. Right, he's now hitting this, so the shield is fine as it stands, but maybe cannons can get through them a bit. There we go, that's that dealt with. He's going to turn and show the side, trying to use the cannons, but we can get through those fairly quick. And now we're going straight for those reactors in the middle. Can you get them in time? Oh, not quite. So close, both of them have nothing left to them. Oh, there we go. Managed to break through. And there's not much else it can do to us now. I mean, it's still got the charge left that it has. And at the moment we're shooting all the guns rather than the actual reactor. But we'll get it in a second. Got a bit of power storage there as well. That's the thing, if we blow up this, does that immediately go dead? Yes. Weird system, that. Oh wait, no it doesn't. It still has guns firing. Even though we got the reward, it's still fighting back with its last breath, so we'll just annihilate it. You know, it's a mercy. They'd just die otherwise, I assume. I don't know if there's, like, people that rescue you from space or not. I'm going to assume that there's not, because it makes me feel better about murdering them all. In the end, this guy drifted off in the other direction and we were alright. Yeah, I've got to wonder how we would fare against a 2v2 ship fight. Might do okay, really, because it depends on how quickly one gets to us after the other. Shogun, I think we've seen this one before, should be fine. There's not much to it. We can very easily get through to the reactors and finish it off. Come on, Mace. That's the thing, it does seem like the spear is better at getting through to the reactors, and so it was just happily, it was exposed, and the Mace is just happily blasting everything but the reactor, and not getting anything done. On to the next. And we'll follow the ships as we go, and not also a random piece of debris. This one is another avalanche. So this should be fine. We'll have another duel between our ion beam ships. Oh, he's changed his mind. He now considers the Mace more of a threat. I guess because the Mace started doing more damage to him. Oh, he's actually starting to hurt us on the front there. Ow, ow. Oh, that's not good. But any second now. There we go. That's that sorted, but wow, you took some hits. That started getting dangerous there. You were getting into the corridor. Very worrying. Yeah, the spear needs to be the one taking the hits now. It's overtaken the Mace as the heavier ship. Is there one more sector? I forget. Or have we done them all? We have in this particular system. Of course, there's plenty others in the other systems, but now it's time to build our third ship, and then from there we might be ready to jump to the next level, and I forget what it's called already. Expert or something, maybe? I don't know. Let's go look at it. There's actually two. Even though there's only one colour left, there are two, because there's the ones with one stripe and the ones with two stripes. So these ones are Elite, that's what it is, and it began with E, and the other ones are Vanguard. Vanguard is the crazy stuff, like the Cerberus, that is like the spear, but better in every way, because it literally inspired the spear. And so we don't want to go to Vanguard, we will die, I assume. So, let's buy a new ship. Got more than enough to build something on par with what we already have. Just buy a Model 1, and then tear the whole thing down in our usual fashion. Delete everything. And start again. Where do we want to begin? One thing I would like to add is a sensor array, because at the moment we don't have one of those. It'll give us much wider range when we're in the game, so that we can see ships a lot sooner than getting to them, and we can see them before we fight them and decide if it was a terrible idea and we should leave instead. That'll be nice when we get to the elite sectors, before we discover what horrors the enemy has available to them. I'm just going to fill in a whole bunch of corridor as a base to work on. Don't know how to do the sensors. I'm wondering if I should have it where the center line is in the middle of a block rather than in between two, and there's certain things that I can then do with that in terms of corridor, but I think it doesn't really work as well as I'd like, so I think I'll just leave that. It makes more sense to have a 2-wide corridor, and then people can go up on one side, down on the other. You can add in conveyor belts, or have it 4-wide, have people happily moving up and down the outside, and then a full line of conveyors in the middle going in either direction, that sort of stuff. That's the sort of thing I've been thinking for really large-scale ships. That's something we could implement here. Maybe could do that. Let's start by building the actual missile launchers. I think that's a good way to start, and then we can think about how we provide for the launchers. So, I mean, immediately I'm not sure how to start here. How wide to have it. We want to have some storage in the middle. The question is how much. I don't know how much is a good idea, really. Because what we could do is have it like that, and then have a pair of storages, like so. And that might be the best way of doing it. It seems like they really blast through their supplies quickly and then end up sat around not doing anything for a while, so that might be best. So have it like that, and then we could have the factories. I wish I could fit them in the middle here, and then they could nicely get from one room to the next, but it doesn't quite line up, annoyingly. So actually, I'll do it like that, and then we'll do missile storage. And with this one, I am putting the ship in danger of exploding, but the idea is that this will never be in a fight, hopefully. If it is, then something's gone horribly wrong. We will add some shields and stuff at the front, though, to make sure that these could be set into the ship a fair way and still be okay, so not the end of the world. Yeah, I don't know if this is overkill or underkill in terms of how many actual launches we have relative to everything else. Hard to say. We'll have to look at it in action and see how it fares. Have some doors in between everything here so that people can easily move around and sort out any unequal amounts of missiles and stuff. Getting into these is awkward. I need to turn these, I think. Rotate them like that. So they can't get between these, unfortunately, now. But not a huge issue. Oh, what I might do, I'm going to actually move these forward, and then we'll put some armor back here. I think that makes sense. Just to protect the factories a little bit. Alternatively, we could have some small crew quarters there so people can very quickly get to all the facilities. Honestly, we could have the crew quarters at the front here, and that might work fairly well. This is what I'm thinking. Maybe I'll change it about later, but it lines up nicely. The whole array fits together very well. And we'll hopefully keep these firing non-stop. I mean, these fire pretty rapidly. As soon as the 3 are in place, it fires. So it should make sense. You need a lot more storage than production, so we'll try that. Next, let's see what we do behind in terms of... Whoops, I pressed the wrong button. Go back to building, please. I don't know what I was doing there. I meant to be pressing these ones, and I was trying to press these instead and getting very confused. We'll have some quarters behind, of course, right behind, so that they can easily get into position. And start feeding everything. Getting it all running. Extra doors. We'll bring it in a little bit. And then we can have the doors here, and then they can very quickly get from their quarters to the rooms, to the facilities. We'll have a nice, neat door system here where it all lines up nicely. Couple corridors here. No particular reason, it just looked nicer if I did that for the moment. Everything's going to be getting rearranged, I'm sure. Next. I'm thinking some shields. So like that. Could go crazy and have a million of them, but I think that's maybe more than necessary. We could put something else here. Like point defense. We will need some point defense of our own. Yeah, let's put that in for now, and then if we think of something else later, we'll do that. Why did you... That's not even symmetrical. What are you thinking? Stupid system. Then... Another thing I'm thinking is having more launches on the side as well. So a couple of front-mounted ones that are like turbo-powered, and then some more on the side that are a little bit more modest, maybe. Yeah, we can build a lot more out at the front here if we like, and these should still have a clear path, I think. At some point we'll have to start thinking about bringing it in a bit so that they don't clip the sides as they try and change direction and fly where they're trying to go. What do we need? Because I'm sort of getting a I guess, a builder's block here as to what I should do next. Let's think about what we need. We need a bridge, so we'll build some bridges. Where are they? Are they in flight? Yes, they are. And some FTL drives, we'll build those too. And then we'll build a couple of reactors right behind those to quickly power all the stuff. We do need some reactors at the front as well. I can't ignore that. They do come into play. Not as much as in other things, which is nice. But these at the front here, we'll need them. And so finding somewhere to fit in power would be good. Perhaps get it feeding in from the outside. So have some corridor running down the side here. And then have some generator here. Storage. We'll have the storage up in front with everything else because there's no problem with that. Let's move these up and put this here. Quickly feeds into everything. Very quickly feeds into that. I think that'll work. I don't think it's too much for... Actually, what we can do is move this out. Oh, actually, okay, I've got my plan now. What we'll do is we'll have reactors like... Not reactors. Shields lined up like this all the way along. This isn't particularly a clever thing. It's just I really like the style of it, so I'm doing it this way. Then we'll have some power storage. I'm always terrible with this whenever I'm looking through any sort of list of things with tabs. I just don't look at what the tabs are. I just click randomly till I spot the thing I'm looking for. I do it in Factorio as well. I should have learned by now where everything is, but I just keep doing that. I'm terrible. I can do it like that, but then what do we do in the space? More armor? Not really sure. What fits in that space? Bunks. I mean, we could do that. It's not the most efficient system, but otherwise the space is wasted, so I guess it makes sense. Yeah, we'll do it like that, and then people can have very quick access to all the facilities. Make everything neat in terms of doors, because that's always nice. And then, yeah, doors going down into the manufacturing facilities. That works pretty nicely. And this is expandable. I can just keep stretching this out as much as I like. Already we've got like 2 of these, essentially. More shields might be good, because at the moment it's very easy for us to be, like, flanked. In fact, maybe instead of even though it's a cool style thing, what I might do is have some point defense here. Bit more functional, keeps the same sort of profile. Having them stick out a bit more would make a lot more sense so that they can actually shoot around a lot more, but I like it looks cool this way. So I'm going to keep it like this for the moment. Getting very expensive. We're already halfway through the sort of the budget I guess I was considering for this, but I'm totally happy to put more money into it if it seems like that's a good idea. This reactor could be closer, but it's dangerous to it. Like, it's a dangerous game to play, seeing how close you can put it. Might move this out to here, and then more quarters here, perhaps. And then another reactor. So, like that. Maybe have them central. No, that doesn't work, because there's no doors here for them to get through. That would be silly. I mean, I could rotate these and have them facing the other way. Might really make more sense. And then there's a way of getting between the factories here. Yeah, I'm going to do it that way. So we'll have the doors here instead. And we'll have a door here, just in the middle, because I don't know where people are going to be coming and going from and stuff. Got to move this down so it lines up more nicely with everything else. Fitting with the repeatable design style. And then I'm going to move these in. Reactor in the middle. Another reactor here. Move this here. Move this here. So there we go. The reactor lines up with the storage. It's miles away, but hopefully people can get to it quickly. I don't know. Maybe I'll do a bit of redesigning and end up with corridors running down the middle to help people get to these things quicker. I mean, this is the thing of, like, I'm building a whole ship from the ground up and then sending it into a fight fully made, so I'm probably going to get it into a fight and then find out that there's certain mistakes that I've made that I need to fix, so There can end up being some major overhauling, but we'll see how it fares for now. We'll see if our ideas work, and then we'll build on them. Already we've got more than enough parrots because we've got no engines yet, though, so we need to add those in. Engines on the side, at the front, so we've got some good rotation-y ability, for want of a better term. We do not need this many. We'll remove these for the moment. I meant to remove, but I ended up moving, and I guess we'll keep it like that. That works fairly well, actually. Then, engines at the back. Plenty. And reverse engines are very important, because this thing needs to make sure it stays away from enemies. We do not want this getting close to the enemy. That will spell doom, and destruction, and death. I'm going to do a complete rearrange of this. Put that there. And then this is going to be basically a block here, and there's another block here with corridors running down on either side. I'll put a bridge right in the middle. Reactor at the back. Will line up nicely. Then just for the purposes of aesthetics and definitely not anything else, because I think it makes things worse really, I'm going to do that. Then this block can be... it can contain engines. That's my thinking, basically. So, move this to here. Delete all this. Whoops, that's not delete. Delete all this. And we'll basically do the same thing as we had with the other ship, but maybe a little bit more overkill. Something like that. And then just have that contained. We could have our forward thrusters inside that as well, really. Not much stopping us. That works fairly well. As much reverse as forward might be a good way of doing it. And then just a whole bunch of armor on the outside here. We'll probably end up replacing some of it with crew quarters later. That doesn't quite line up nicely. Like that. Bit of this on this. Whoops. Bit of this on the side. Bring this down. Looks nice. The whole thing looks a bit silly, and it's not really what I was looking for originally. In fact, I'm going to do it a little bit differently. What I'm going to do is put it all in the back instead. In one big section instead of two small ones. Something like that. And then corridors running down the side. Delete all this stuff because I've changed my mind. We will want a whole bunch of armor down the side. Like that. Just go crazy with it. Keep everything nice and safe. Always good. Let's do that. And also we'll make this a little bit more solid. Have that more contained. Looks a bit silly. We could do something similar at the other end. Or we could go even crazier with the armor. Infinite armor. What we'll do is we'll cut it out in the middle here a bit. It doesn't really matter that much. Let's just remove loads of it. And then have even more engines. Or are they engines? Thrusters. Even. There we go. Get rid of all this. Looks a bit wacky. But that's fine by me. We probably want corridor access, because otherwise people are going to have to go through a million doors to get where they're trying to go. And then just armor on the back. It seems weird now. It's like, what else do we do with the back of the ship? There's nothing for it to be. Let's do it like this. Whoops. Ah. Misclicking. There we go. Very blocky, this one. Maybe we should actually have multiple sections. Corridors running down the middle. Yeah, I think that's better actually. Probably don't even need the corridors back here now because we've got a little bit more solid defense on the back. So I'll just cut this all out again. That's not what I meant. I meant we can cut this out because we've now got solid access to the rooms. I'm getting my concepts very confused and mixed up. I'm too busy focusing on the building. I'm having a lot of fun here. I guess we'll keep these doors accessed like this. Lining them up doesn't make sense. I should keep them where they are. Whoops! Ah! No! Back there. These, for the purposes of neatness, this, we'll do that as well. Make that symmetrical. That's all as we want it. That's all good. We're already okay in terms of power. But maybe... I don't know. Well, we've got one power thing for each of these at the front. That's probably good. But then one for all these things at the back probably won't work. So I'll double this up over here, and then we'll put crew in the middle. And so even though we're well over our power stuff, it's now better distributed and more readily available for the things that need it. Other than that, pretty good. Oh, we do need to sort out the doors in the front here. We want 1 million doors in the front of these reactor rooms to easily get to the front here. The armor's a little bit crazy on the side here. The idea was I'd fill this in. Oh, I do need sensors. I forgot about those. Where do we fit them then? Sensors just in here somewhere? Or somewhere in the middle. It messes up all the stuff and the things. I'd have one, but I can't make it symmetrical if I do that. I can't have them be off-center. It would go against everything I believe in, so I will add these in here. But then, everything's wrong, basically. I will move this stuff out to the sides. Actually put this in the middle here. We need fire extinguishers. I've just realized I've completely forgotten about those for a while. So we'll add some in here. Couple of them. Let's have banks of the things. Actually, I'll move them back a bit. I might as well set them into the wall. Might as well have one of them be a lot closer to the front. Fill that back in. And then I can just have this bristling with fire extinguishers to make me feel better about the positioning of everything. A lot of doors around the place. Some way out of the quarters going forward so that people can more quickly get to these, because at the moment getting people into the missile launching facilities is a problem. I mean, the moment we have no people, I sold them all, so we need to get those back again. We do have the bunks at the front here. They are definitely going to help a lot. Okay, maybe just sitting some in the side here. Leaves us no armor there though, and I like how it's all a straight line all the way down at the moment. I'll build them here. We'll just fill this block in here with them. Now there's a less comical amount of armor, and this all lines up fairly well. We'll have a door going through to here, and through to here. And I'm pretty happy with that. That is a ship. It doesn't have as many... It's only got 2 missile launchers right now. Later on, we're going to add in a lot more. Probably widen it, put some on the sides here. At the moment, I just want to see how well these do when you have crazy amounts of missile launching facilities available. I'm basically just testing how well it fires. And then we'll spend crazy amounts of money building like 3 times as much missile launching stuff at this as this. We do need some side-facing engines, I've just noticed. We are missing those. I will actually rotate these. I think that'll be fine. Having slightly more in the way of forward thrusters than backward thrusters makes a lot of sense, so I think that's fine. I will move these out a bit because I want this to look neat. And that looks nicer. There we go, very boxy this particular ship. And yes, it will need a name. Let's make it so and see what it looks. Crew's good, power's crazy. More than we need. Oh, we're missing our FTL drives. Whoops. Where do we put those? We were sort of really good in terms of how much of each thing we had. I will move this to here. These to here. And FTL drive to here, right between the reactors so it can easily be powered. I think that's a good idea. Crew has access, we'll add that in. We don't really need that actually, but whatever, it's there now. Okay, and now it's 99%. We're already at the limit of what these can deal with. Again, though, these look a bit yellow at the bottom here, but I don't know if it's my mind playing tricks on me. So, who knows? There we go. I think that's everything we need. No backup weaponry as it stands. We will want to add that stuff in later. Also, some side pointing point defense, but let's just finish this as it is at this point. There we go, we'll let people get on with things. We'll keep an eye on how long it takes for them to get everything up and running. So everyone's getting into their positions, delivering power to the storage and stuff at the front. The back has very quickly been sorted, all the thrusters are operational. Now it's just the facilities for missiles, which are barely even being manned yet. Yeah, all the factories are operational, they're all powered, it's just a case of delivering the missiles. What are you doing, guys? What are you working on right now? Get on with delivering the missiles. This is the important thing. Oh, they're still sorting out the power stuff. They delivered like the first wave of cells, but then they used all the cells to power all the stuff at the front. So they're about to deliver it again. We need conveyor belts here. Actually, there's a bit of congestion here as well. That's no good. There we go. That's all powered. Everything's now full and charged and ready. Only 2 missile launches at the moment, but we will definitely add more. We just wanted to see how it worked, and I didn't want to be building for all of time. So now we have our 3 ships, and please come up with a name suggestion for this, something fitting the theme we've got so far of a medieval weapon that fits the, that operates in a similar way as this does to some sort of long-range thing. Probably just call it sling or bow. Makes sense. But we will leave it there. Next episode, we might be ready to try the elite sectors. I'm not sure. Maybe I'm now flipping the other way again and I'm going to be jumping to these too soon. But we have our sensors now, so our sensor range is crazy. We can see what we're facing before we face it and jump away if we're terrified and we've made a terrible mistake. So, I think we can give it a shot. I think we can try it. I guess, give your suggestions in the comments. You might have seen what elite sectors are like, so tell me how terrifying they are and whether I should wait a little bit longer or not. But 3 ships is going to be really good for flanking and outmaneuvering things, even that are bigger than any one ship that we have. But that is all I have time for today, so I shall say goodbye, thank you for watching, and I shall see you next time.